On today's episode, I will share with you my favorite quotes and how they help me. My name is Bruno, and this is the Battle Plan. Now, on social media, when you guys go on to either our social media for the Battle Plan or on my personal social media, I ask you guys to interact with you guys, and then you guys ask me some questions. And one of the questions that I got that I decided to do an episode on was, can you share with us your favorite quotes? And basically, I decided to do that today because I think that in the interest of the Battle Plan podcast and everything that we do, I think that those are very specific to my daily actions, to how I operate basically all the time. And they're very important. Obviously, there's tons of them. There's way more than these. But in the interest of just this episode, I think that those were the top ones that have basically come up all the time. So the first one is, how you do anything is how you do everything. Now, if you haven't listened to the episode of the shopping cart theory, be sure to click on the link in the description or right here if you're watching on YouTube. But basically, how you do anything is how you do everything. So this is such a powerful short sentence that means a lot, for me anyway. And the first time I think I've heard that saying mentioned, or I was told, that was in my military career. I served 15 years in the Canadian Armed Forces, and that was told to me by a sergeant or a warrant. And basically was, how you do anything is how you do everything, troops. And it was in the interest of basically keeping a high standard. It was all about getting yourself squared off, making sure you were at a higher standard. You always demanded more of yourself than the average bear. And it stuck with me because if you wanted to achieve more, you needed to do more and be more. And how you do anything is how you do everything. Translate to that. Now, where did I see that being applied on a daily basis? Because as you know, the military is a very controlled environment. It's an ecosystem. It's basically all the structures are already established. You got ranks, you got rules and regulations, you got decorum, you got our uniforms. Everything is planned and functions a certain way, which is why the military is successful at achieving their end mission goal. But in real life, the first time that I started paying attention, you got to remember that I was over 30 years in the fitness industry, was when I opened my gym and I became a coach, and I really started seeing people on a daily basis. And what I started recognizing was a pattern of basically, I got it down pat to a science of looking at someone's body language, looking at their language, and looking at how they conduct themselves within that short period of time while they were in my presence, or if we were doing outside the gym activity, basically coming down on why they were struggling, not only with their weight or with their physical fitness or whatever that is, but it translated anywhere else into their lives. And that's when I started basically paying attention to habit creating, how people talk to themselves, how they saw themselves, how they really, their beliefs and their values. And that is what that quote means to me. How you do anything is how you do everything. That's for that one. That really, that is on a daily basis. Don't get me wrong. This is not, that does not mean, wow, I'm having a hard time here. That does not mean that you do not fail or that you don't run into some challenges. Is basically how you conduct yourself when people aren't watching, when they're not looking, when you're on your own. What you do behind closed door will be celebrated. That's another quote right there. What you what you do behind closed door will be celebrated out in the public. So basically, that's a very important one, and I hope that I'm really describing how important that is. That one is tied to my high standards. Jocko Willink mentions extreme ownership. That one basically says that to me. Extreme ownership. How you do anything is how you do everything. My second one is luck favors the prepared. Now, what does that mean? Now, to me, that means that luck favors the prepared. So you've heard that so many times. People are successful, or other people are looking at them, or something like that, and they're saying, "Oh man, that guy's lucky. It was just luck." Even some people that are successful will say, "Oh, I just got lucky." And obviously, one of my a person that I follow that I like to read about is uh, Sir Richard Branson. And basically, it's got so many quotes that I like, but luck favors the prepared kind of like really encompasses everything that he's all about. Like, let's do it. If opportunity shows up, say yes, then figure out how to do it later. Basically, luck favors the prepared. So if you tie it with how you do anything and how you do everything, luck favors the prepared is that if you keep yourself and everything squared away, like in the military, we call it one man, one kit, and basically have all your stuff organized, then luck favors the prepared. That when something is going to show up, you will be able to capitalize on that opportunity. That's what luck favors the prepared means to me. Now, the third one that I want to talk about is actually a story. Now, hold on to your seat, because I'm going to go way back to the 1990s, basically 1990s. And I was working in the bar and restaurant industry. And at the time, somebody within a client had approached me and had mentioned Amway. Now, for some of you that are born, within the last 20 years or so, you might not think, what's Amway? Amway back in the day was a multi-level marketing company that, started selling soap and new supplements, and then it started selling everything. I would say that it was almost like the early Amazon. But yeah, anyway, it was a multi-level marketing of how to make money and all these things. But what they did have is that they had cassette tape that you could get every month or every quarter or whatever of their top earners, doing presentation, and you would listen to that. And out of those tapes that I was listening to, I was so far back, there was this story that once again ties with the two previous one, but it really hit me hard. Now think about it, like in the 1990s. Okay. So basically the story is about two friends. They go to a cottage and they're catching up and they haven't seen each other in a long time. And the owner of the cabin has a dog. And one night, as they're sitting on the porch, they're having a discussion about life and success and all these things. And then the dog goes and sits by the guest. And he starts whimpering, and then he starts howling. And the guest goes to the owner and goes, "What's wrong with your dog?" And the owner goes, "Well, it's because he apparently just sat down on a nail. And it hurts him enough to howl and to complain, but not enough to get up and move." Now, think about that for just a second here, right? How many people, or even yourself, how many times have you seen someone complain over and over and over without making any changes? It becomes part of their identity. And basically, that's what that quote or that little story means to me. It hurts enough to complain, but not enough to get up and move. Now, I took that to heart, and actually, that I tie with the, if you haven't listened to the episode of the Peter Principle, basically as that one day you will reach your level of incompetence unless you prepare for the next level all the time. That one means that for me. So it's basically if I find myself, because we all fall within that trap of complaining. There's nothing wrong with complaining. It's just in the way that you do it. And if you're going to live there for a long time. So when you complain, you're just venting, you're just being aware of something that you're not pleased with, whether it be with your relationship, with your success, with your finance, with your family, with anything. It's okay to complain, but not to live there, right? You need to get up and move or get up and take action. That quote, that little story is the epitome of that. Is basically that's what it described for me. Now, the two last ones. So the next one is I read from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it's his description about success. And it is, to me, the best description for success. It basically is what I call a catch-all quote. Basically, I'm going to read it, and then you guys can make your own deduction out of it, but then I'll have a little bit of a chat after that about it. So, but what is success according to Ralph Waldo Emerson? To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded. Now, that is so impactful for me because just the last sentences of this, to know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. Isn't that incredible? When I read that, because I've read a few of his books, and when I read his definition of success, to me was a catch-all. And basically, if you read that, it's almost impossible. It's almost impossible not to succeed. So I like to read that or think about it first thing in the morning, or maybe sometimes late at night. And it makes me revisit, hey, did I help anybody today? Did I improve something? Was I a better person? Just basically, was I a better person? Did I make this world a better place? And that quote does that for me. It really does. The next one, as we go, is from Robert A. Einlein. I'm probably saying this wrong. That quote I fell upon when I was looking for motivational quotes while I was being in the military about being a very top level human being on how to help better, how to be better, how to be faster, stronger, smarter. And I fell upon this one. And once again, it really hit me that I decided to start adopting it and putting it into practice on a daily basis, or as often as I could think about it. And basically it says this: a human being should be able to change a diaper, plan an invasion, butcher a hog, con a ship, design a building, write a sonnet, balance accounts, build a wall, set a bone, comfort the dying, take orders, give orders, cooperate, act alone, solve equations, analyze a new problem, pitch manure, program a computer, cook a tasty meal, fight efficiently, die gallantly. Specialization is for insects. So basically, this is another catch-all, is you should always be working on mastering other skills that you're not good at. And if you're already good at some of these, then you're already on your way. That's what that quote means for me. I'd love to hear what it means to you, and if any of these quotes that I'm mentioning today are hitting you in any way, if you think that I'd like to hear your comments. So make sure to comment, like, share this episode, and for last but not least, my favorite of all on a spiritual level is the one from Marianne Williamson. You know this quote. You've heard it in many movies. You've heard it said. It's used constantly for motivational. That one is a very spiritual one for me, and it does ring very, very true, especially when I'm feeling down, when I'm not on top of my game. I'll have to remind myself to go and read that quote and to really sit with it, actually meditate on it. And here is this quote. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frighten us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Wow, this is such a powerful poem, quote, saying whatever you want to call this. And it ties in once again with Ralph Waldo Emerson about success. If one life has breathed easier because you have lived, that is to have succeed. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Now, as you can see, these quotes today that I shared with you, they tie each other. I'm kind of like, I like patterns, I like behaviors, I like that kind of stuff. So I like my entire model of my world is big picture, and it needs to make sense and tie to each other. It needs to flow in a certain way. So I hope that I answered your question, out of the shadows. That's your name on social media. I hope that I answer your questions. And if you have more questions out there, guys, please be sure to share, like, comment, and let us know what you want to hear more of. Now, I'm Bruno, and this was The Battle Plan. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode.